guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're reacting to America compared. Why other countries treat their people so much better. Really? But anyways, we're gonna figure it out and see. But before we do start, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell button to get notified whenever I do upload a video. Anyways, guys, let's check this out. I can't speak. And guys, if you want me to react to other videos, let me know in the comments. But let's see what this is about. It's hot like...
This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. If you'd like to help me make more content like this, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/secondthought.
No, I need a patron, to be
I'm going
honest.
to say something that will probably offend many of my viewers. Let me preface this by saying that I, as an American...
I say a lot of things that offend viewers. Not even my viewers, but viewers. But I don't give a fudge, okay? Don't give a fudge, because if you give fudges in this world, you're not gonna be happy. If you give too much fucks in this world, you're not gonna be happy. So, Mr. Second Thought, don't give a fuck. It's pointless.
American include myself in the following statement. Americans are quite possibly the most willfully ignorant people on the face of the planet. We have access to the sum total of all human knowledge, yet our understanding of the world rarely extends beyond our own country. And even then, the majority of Americans believe in a vision of the country that does not actually exist. It's not that we're stupid, we just tend to blindly accept that the US is the greatest place on Earth, and therefore don't see any reason to educate ourselves about the realities of the rest of the world. In this episode, we're going to pull back the curtain on how America actually compares to other countries, and consider why the richest country on Earth fails to treat its people with dignity and fairness. I'm going to provide a list of important topics, then for each item we'll compare the American experience with that of citizens from other nations. Hopefully by providing a side-by-side comparison, you'll be able to see the stark contrast between how most Americans see their country and how it really stacks up against the competition. To give you an idea of just how skewed the American perception of our country really is, let's start with a pretty shocking example.
What?
Compensation for what are considered low-skilled jobs. We'll take the quintessential American company, McDonald's.
Oh.
McDonald's is the world's largest restaurant chain by revenue. It operates in over 100 countries and serves over 69 million customers every day.
You know one funny thing? When I was growing up, like as a teenager, especially in this country, I really wanted, because of movies, right, and all that stuff, it really affects us as individuals. But anyways, I really wanted to work for McDonald's. That was like something I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I wanted to go to college and probably work for like McDonald's or Starbucks, and that was like a dream, you know, low-key of mine. But not in this country, obviously in America. But now that I'm watching this, I feel like that dream of teenage Ruky is gonna be crushed.
As of 2018, McDonald's was the second largest private employer, with 1.7 million employees, behind Walmart's 2.3 million.
I don't know, I'm just weird,
How many
right?
times have you heard
Who
someone
dreams
refer
to
to
work at
McDonald's
McDonald's?
jobs or workers in a derogatory manner? For some reason, people who work at McDonald's are seen as inferior or lazy or have any number of other unfair and unkind assessments leveled.
I'm offended! That was my dream and you're telling me it's for lazy people? Hello? You're mistaken.
This probably stems from the old notion of flipping burgers being a job anyone can perform. But the animosity towards low-wage workers has grown significantly in the past few decades.
Those burgers
and in America, McDonald's workers really do suffer a low wage. As of 2020, the average crew member at McDonald's makes $9 per hour.
You guys are saying that's low wage, and then you're comparing it to the rest of the world. And no. When you say the rest of the world, you have to include Asia, okay? Or let's say Philippines. $9 per hour. That is per day in the Philippines. Even less, okay? In the city that I live in, McDonald's employee get. Let me do the math, okay? Quick maths. Wait, give me some seconds. Nope. This is not. They earn about $6.50 per hour in this, not per hour, sorry, per day. And obviously you work 5 days a week, right? I don't know if they have overtime and all that stuff, but you're telling me the cost of living also is something that we have to consider. So if somebody is making $9 per hour, let's say they work for 8 hours, we have $72 times so they have 3,000 per week, and then times by 4 weeks. So they have, ooh, yeah, that's really low, especially for the States. If it was in the Philippines, that would be great. Everybody will be working for McDonald's, trust me. But for the US, yeah, that is not.
The average McDonald's cashier makes $8 per hour. The federal minimum wage in the United States is $7.25, a rate which has not been raised in over a decade, and which should not be considered a reasonable wage
Can we do
for
per
any
hour in the
position,
Philippines
considering
too,
the fact that a
please?
full-time minimum wage worker cannot afford to rent a 2-bedroom apartment anywhere in the United States,
Oh my
and can't afford a
gosh.
1-bedroom apartment in over 95% of US counties. Now, the all-too-common response to data like this is something like, well, yeah, it's not a hard job. You should just find a better one. Here's a simple question.
Who's gonna do that at
Should any
McDonald's?
job, regardless of technical skill required,
Yeah.
pay workers so little that they cannot afford to rent even the smallest place to live? Not to mention other necessities like
Like,
utility.
if you're gonna tell McDonald's employee to get another job, then who the freak is gonna serve your burgers? Like, some people are so idiotic.
Food and medicine. Absolutely not. That is inhumane and cruel.
Like, oh, you're
especially
just a
coming from the
janitor.
second-largest
Go find a
employer
better
in the
job.
richest country on the planet.
Excuse me,
Other
mister.
notable
Who's gonna clean
objections
your freaking
include,
floor?
McDonald's has to make a profit. If they pay their workers more, they might go out of business. First of all, if you can't pay your workers a fair wage, your company should not be in business. End of story.
Yeah,
But
true.
again, McDonald's is not struggling to make ends meet. In 2019, McDonald's raked in $21 billion in
Damn.
revenue. But no matter how obvious the exploitation of low-wage workers, Americans are hell-bent on praising the very companies doing the exploiting. Take this article on Reader's Digest, for example. It's titled, "This is what McDonald's workers really get paid." You see that and think, oh, nice, finally some news showing how poorly these workers are compensated. Then you scroll down and, nope, they're actually praising McDonald's, saying things like, the food chain is also great for paying their workers fairly. And McDonald's is one of the highest paying fast food chains in the United States. This level of sycophancy is insane. If $8 or $9 an hour is some of the highest pay in the industry, that doesn't indicate that McDonald's is paying fairly. It indicates that a massive chunk of the population is being paid poverty wages.
That's why there's a lot of
This is
people
where
who have like
taking an
2
international
jobs, 10
perspective
jobs.
is so critical.
Because
If all you see is feel-good
they're not
stories
getting
about how
paid.
well McDonald's workers are paid, you'll never know how badly American workers are actually being treated.
That's so
Let's take
bad.
the same company, the same position, but in a different country.
Okay.
Here's a McDonald's in Denmark. The average McDonald's worker in Denmark, for doing the same low-skill job, makes $22 per hour. Well,
Whoa, that's really, really good. That's really good. I think if you compare like Southeast Asia, probably like some parts of Africa and US and then Europe, I feel like Southeast Asia is like down, and then we have America in the middle, and then Europe probably on top. But damn.
well, hold on, you hear Reader's Digest scream from across the Atlantic. McDonald's workers in America get paid vacation days after just a year of work. Wow, enticing. In Denmark,
Oh,
when you're
damn,
hired
look
at
at how he does
McDonald's,
it. It's
not
like
only are you making nearly 3 times what you would make in an American Mickey D's, you also instantly have access to a full year of paid family leave and a pension. No slaving away for a year to prove your value
wow,
to the
I'm
company.
gonna go to Denmark
Hired
then.
and you're treated fairly. Simple as that. McDonald's can afford to compensate all their
Live
workers
my
like
dream
this, but
of
they
working
won't,
for McDonald's.
because U.S. laws allow them to exploit American workers to the point where they're basically slaves,
Oh my
earning the bare minimum
gosh.
to survive, paying all of their income, and often going into debt just to pay
Yeah.
rent, and having no
In the States, the thing is, you guys have so many bills. You have so many things to pay for. And giving people a low salary and then having so much bills to pay, it's like negative. You're living negative, below your means. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to Denmark and live my dreams. I just want a peaceful, quiet life with no drama, flipping burgers for the rest of my life.
way to escape this vicious cycle because they're working
So
such
if I'm
long
not on
hours.
YouTube one day,
This is the case
you know
across
where to
all
find
of
me.
America's low-wage jobs, of which there are many. The plight of the low-wage worker is incredibly dire. And
Oh my
all you have
gosh.
to do to understand that is look at how those same workers are treated in other wealthy countries. Let's move on to another topic,
Okay.
work-life balance. Fair wages are definitely part of this equation. If you're paid fairly, you don't need to work a second job, which will free up your time to be spent elsewhere. But we're going to focus on other metrics, specifically the length of the work week, vacation time, and parental leave. Let's start with the US.
Okay.
Most Americans would say that 40 hours per week is full time. That seems to be the general consensus. But, in keeping with the country's exploitative labor practices, the hilariously named Fair Labor Standards Act does not actually define what qualifies as full time. That's left up to the employer. Okay, why does this matter? Well, think of your past part-time jobs. Did you get any benefits? Healthcare, 401k? Probably not. Most benefits, when they're offered at all, are reserved for full-time employees.
Oh.
Companies don't want to provide benefits because they affect their bottom line.
What
America-
is that? It's like as long as you have work, you should have benefits. That's crazy. Over here, I think you do. Yeah, even if you're part time, but most people do full time. There's no, like it's only few people that do part time jobs, but they have benefits, and sometimes you can choose not to let the company pay, and you can pay it on your own as well. I think, I don't know.
America is all about cutting costs, and providing workers with fair compensation is a cost. So, imagine you apply for a full-time job at
I
Best Buy.
see.
You're offered the job, but they tell you they only have part-time positions, but they can give you almost full-time. They make it sound like they're doing you a
Cheeky.
favor, offering you more hours than normal part-time. But this is just
Cheeky.
another example of employers exploiting
They don't
their
want
workers.
to pay
If
freaking
you work
benefits.
37 hours per week,
Your
you're essentially a
insurance.
full-time employee, but they don't have to provide you any sort of benefits. No
Oh.
healthcare, no vacation, nothing.
This
is a common
American.
practice. Companies will hire people but keep them just below the threshold for full-time to avoid providing fair compensation. I've seen it happen. I used to work at Best Buy and they would do it all the time.
Oh.
And that's just the companies who are still trying to appear generous. Others will simply not offer benefits at all, or set their full-time positions at 50 or 60 hours per week. Sales positions are notorious for this. They'll often say, well, we expect you to work 40 hours, but all the top sellers are working 60 to 70 hours per week. This is coercion. They're trying to pressure you into working more hours to benefit them, and the compensation is never what they claim it will be. By allowing employers to define full-time work, American workers are held captive by corporations, forced to either
Damn,
work
that's why you
absurd
guys
hours
are
to qualify
always
for full-time
working.
benefits or find a second job to help cover the cost of things like health insurance. Both of these options lead to a terrible work-life
toxic.
balance, and as real wages have decreased and benefits have been offered less and less over the years, huge numbers of American workers have developed an unhealthy work-life balance. For example, in 1960, when workers had real bargaining power, only 20% of American women worked. Today, 70% of children live in households where both parents are working full-time.
Yeah, because like if you like most country, I don't know if it's most countries, but over here, you don't necessarily see students having jobs until like after school, because they can afford to not go to work while studying, because we don't have so many things to pay for, pay for car, pay for whatever, phone and all that stuff. Like you guys have so many things to pay for. That's why everybody's just working. Even at the age of freaking 2 years old, you're working already. I'm joking, but yeah, it's crazy.
Where does all this lead? As of 2020, over 85% of American men and 66% of women work more than 40 hours per week. We work 137 more hours per
My
year
head
than
hurts.
Japanese workers, 260 more than the British, and 499 more hours per year than the French.
Oh
Why do
my
other
God.
countries have such a better balance?
Yeah.
Because many of them have laws that cap the length of the full-time work week. Companies are required to pay their workers fairly and allow enough time off for employees to maintain a healthy work-life balance. That's not the case in the US. Vacation time is a similar story. Whereas many other countries mandate
Maybe
that
that's
employers
why Americans are like just in their own bubble, like he said in the beginning, right? It's like the reason why maybe you're considered ignorant. He said it. I'm just repeating, right? Or let's say the reason why Americans are called ignorant is because they don't have time to go outside to explore other culture and countries, because you're always working. So it makes sense that they don't know any better than what they're used to, accustomed to, because it's in the nature to work from age probably 18 until the end of life. It's crazy. And then you see these Europeans and other countries like Asians and Africans going to the States for vacations because they can afford it. But then the other way around, Americans don't necessarily go outside a lot because they can't afford to go on vacations.
Provide paid vacation and sick days.
Yeah.
The U.S. does not. In every industrialized nation, workers get more paid vacation days and holidays than in the U.S. Here's a depressing graph to illustrate just how poorly we treat our workers. France, 31, Spain, 34, Austria, 38, America, 0.
Damn.
0 paid vacation days,
0
paid holidays. And remember, these are the mandated figures. Every Austrian worker gets a minimum of 38 paid days off per year.
Whoa.
Even in the worst possible employment situation,
that's why Europeans are
they'd still
always
get
like
38
traveling, huh?
paid days off. In the U.S., many workers are lucky to get Christmas or Thanksgiving off at all, and the odds that it's a paid holiday, next to 0. Let's move on to our final comparison, paid parental leave. Many Americans aren't even aware this is a thing, so let me explain. When an employee of a company has a child, sometimes they're offered parental leave, a period of time where they can stay home from work to bond with and take care of their new baby. This greatly benefits the employee, the child, and, in the long run, the company, because the employee will be happier, less stressed, and more loyal to the company. Of course, offering paid parental leave doesn't benefit corporations in the short term. And if there's one thing that encapsulates the American business philosophy, it's short-term gains over all else. So it won't surprise you to learn that the U.S. is the only industrialized nation on the planet that does not mandate some amount of paid parental leave. This may be shocking to my American viewers because being able to get paid to spend time with your newborn child sounds like an impossible dream in our dystopian labor market.
That is so sad.
And honestly, it probably is impossible in our current America. We're so invested in self-destructive capitalism that even suggesting the possibility of paid parental leave would put U.S. politicians out of a job. That's not the case in the rest of the industrialized world. In fact, every other OECD nation, and even in many third world countries, new parents are guaranteed at least several weeks of leave.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a few of them.
I think
Ethiopia, a country with an annual gross national income of under $900 per person, offers 90 days of leave with 100%.
I think over here it's like 90 days as well, like 3 months, I think is the maternal leave. Or am I mistaken? Maybe 2 months? Somewhere there. It's either 2 months or 3 months.
Hey, Madagascar, 14 weeks at 100%. Afghanistan, 90 days. Denmark, 52 weeks.
Whoa.
Norway, 56 weeks.
Damn.
France, 16 weeks at 100% pay for your first child, up to 26 weeks for your third, on top of 104 unpaid weeks. Lithuania, 52 weeks at 100%, plus an additional 52 weeks at 80%. Again, the United States does not mandate a single day of paid parental leave, even for the mother, and the father is never considered. This means that workers in America have to choose to either pay the exorbitant cost of...
Okay, so in the Philippines, it's 60 to 105 days you can go on maternity leave. So,
childcare, or have one parent quit their job in order to take care of the child. These are both bad options, which often lead to economic precarity. But that doesn't matter to the companies employing American workers. Profit is the only thing that matters. Hopefully seeing these labor practices compared like this...
That's why in the movies, that's why in the movies, like, it's kind of accurate, because you can see, like, a pregnant woman in the office, and then she, like, days or even weeks before she's pregnant, before she gives birth, then she takes a leave. That's crazy. And then, like, right after she's back at work, or maybe after she gives birth, she's back on her computer or her computer working. Like, that's so crazy. Whilst here, a mother who gives birth, I don't even think they go to work, like, right away. Maybe they take like a year off or something. I don't even know anymore.
Not only is the U.S. not living up to its claim to being the greatest nation on earth, but also that it consistently ranks poorly and often dead last in terms of labor metrics. Why is it that the wealthiest, most powerful
I
nation
didn't
on
know
earth can't
this,
pay their
right?
workers a fair wage, or provide health care,
That's
vacation
why when
time,
we
or
started a
paid
while ago, I
parental
was like,
leave?
really?
You should
Well,
realize by now that
damn.
it's not that they can't, it's that they won't. Everything in America is beholden to the almighty dollar. Profit is the only motivator. If an action does not produce a greater profit, it will not be considered. Over the last few decades, Americans have watched as our livelihoods, our quality of life, and our dignity have all been
Just
stripped
move
away
to
by
another
those who
country,
already
guys.
make obscene amounts of money.
Can make
Those in
more
power
money
say
and
we're
you will
all in
have
this together,
a longer
but
life.
that couldn't be further from the truth. The ultra-wealthy and the world's largest corporations rely on Americans remaining ignorant. They rely on us accepting the lie that America is the greatest nation on earth, that it couldn't possibly get any better. All you have to do to shatter that lie is to take a look around the world.
Oh,
Other nations
yeah.
take care of their citizens, even impoverished nations.
I thought that over here, the government didn't take care of its people, but compared to what I just saw, we're kind of like good. You know, we're good. I mean, like, it's not the best. It can improve improve way more, but at least we got it good. You know,
Nations that we've
to say
bombed
the
into
least.
oblivion take better care of their people than the US does. American workers need to relearn the language of class struggle and work together to break the wheel of the capitalist machine. If we want to claim that the United States is the greatest place on earth, we need to make it that way.
Yes. Sorry, as if I lived
I
there.
mentioned at the
But
beginning
still.
of this video that this kind of
Oh, what he said at the end is really true. And also, I was gonna say something very smart, but I forgot because I'm not smart actually. What was it?
machine.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of like countries that he showed that looks like a poor country. And to those poor countries, like even people here, right? We look at America and be like, oh wow, like at age 16 or 18, they have a car and they have a job and they have money, and we envy that type of lifestyle, you know. But then seeing this and comparing what we got over here, actually we got it really easy, especially as young adults and even teenagers. You know, we got it super easy because we don't have to think about bills, we don't have to think about low wages. Yes, our wages are low, but we can survive on those, you know, over here. Damn. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you soon. Bye.